We could do a lot of those. It's so nice to you. You're looking swell, Park Street.
I can tell, Park Street.
Okay, I was trying to kill some time, but let's not do that. So we are really excited to have so many people actually not traveling. We I would say have a table worth of folks on the road, and we ask for traveling mercies for all of them. It's a great time to be able, if you can, especially if you can get out of heat and humidity, it's a great time for that. We also have some folks that we know that we keep in our prayers. For those of you who would like to be part of the emails that we send out with prayer concerns and things that you need to share, you can just write on the back. There's a little card in the back of your chair that says, it's kind of, I call it getting to know you card. And typically we don't. Ruthie's holding it up. Thank you, Vanna. Thank you, Vanna. So, and that's a great place also for, if you have any questions, if you would like to have a meeting with me, actually you need to put that off until the end of September. But as I will begin my sabbatical on Monday, August 4th, and will take this opportunity to say thanks to all of you who've allowed me this, I'm going to say much needed. And if you spent time with me this morning, you're going to go, yeah, she needs to go. But I do want that. It's a great way of communicating. And I'm going to say this also because I see we have some faces that I don't recognize. You look great back there, fellas. For prayer concerns, I'm going to just reiterate this, and I'm going to send out an email about that I really encourage you. You're going to be sending your emails to PSCC information. We'll get that to you. You don't have to memorize it. But it's really important to send emails to please put prayer concern. That's all you have to put, because then we can make sure we don't miss any prayer concerns. Sometimes with text, it's easy to forget that. So I would encourage you to send any prayer concerns that you need in the RE of your email. And also, it's really important here. We all want to know, and we love to share our stories. But if there is something in a prayer concern that you would not like to be sent out, and you guys have been very good about this, but make sure to say, if there's something, a sensitive topic, you can say, just put this in the prayer concern. Sometimes family members don't know the whole story and they're on the prayer. It's just a good thing to do. So I just wanted to take that opportunity to say it out loud, and then there will be an email to just let you know who to go to, who to contact while I am away. So with that, sorry for those who are here as guests to hear that bit of housekeeping, because I like to keep this part short. This is the last week of our summer speaker series. This is the third year that we've done this, and we have had an incredible time together. And the pattern has been we find someone to interview a guest from outside of our community who has either similar backgrounds or interests, and that's worked out beautifully, from songwriters to muralists to therapists to folks that I can't even say what CRNA stands for in the world of anesthesiologists, but
they're very important.
They're very important people, but they're way too many syllables for this mouth, consecutively, in one word. So it's been an amazing journey, because we've asked these folks to share, okay, this is what I do for a living. You know, this is what I studied in university, but my passion project is this. And we talk about this being sacred, the sacredness of it, and let them define how this is sacred, how they bless and are blessed by this passion project. And we continue with this. And we also spend time, an extended amount of time, during communion. So you'll be able to partake of the elements. And we want to make sure that all means all here, and in so many ways, that we do have some full of gluten triangle bread on your center, but also the most fabulous vegan gluten-free bread ever. That Nancy bakes both of these things fresh for us. So you're just going to sit there after we do the words. I'm going to just once again remind table host. I'd like somebody somebody decide to be the table host right now before we get going, so I don't have to.
I think that one's ours.
Okay, who's going to be there? Nancy back there? Becca? That's so great. So I'm going to remind you this, so I don't have to talk about it as we get ready. It's like Simon says, right? It's like Simon says. So when I say, raise the bread, we raise the bread. And when I say, bless the bread, we break the bread. And then we put the bread down. And then we raise the chalice, the cup. We all raise the cup. And then I bless it, and then we put the cup down. And it is then that the table hosts start dealing out the goods, right? Colleen says. Thank you. It's really, actually, it's a very endearing. We've been doing this for 3 years. It's very, we have some really proactive individuals that, like, if they had a bread knife, they'd be going, kind of measuring cups. Everybody has seen it. They're so lovely. And I could talk about them because they're not here. I'm just kidding. Welcome to Park Street. So with all that, I'm just going to say welcome to Park Street. It's good to see you here, and I'm going to invite our worship pastor, Donna, up. And I do need to make an announcement because Joy told me not to forget. Okay, you got to come up here. This is our executive chair of the executive committee. It's Joy.
So as, boy, we're really low crowd. It's really weird. Normally it's like, as stated in the email that was sent out to all of you that hopefully you all got regarding Colleen's sabbatical, one of the things I did was to make a magnet to help us. And I asked Carlene, was there kind of a mantra, a scriptural verse that she was going to use during her sabbatical to kind of keep her focused and renewed and refreshed. And it was, and she gave me a whole song, so I had to kind of pull a little bit from that. And so, and I'm sorry these were not here last week. We had some technical difficulties because I used 2 printers and then the Cricut to make these. And we had some technical difficulties with one of my printers. So they're here this week. They're out by the door, and they're just the magnets that you can put on a refrigerator with the first 2 verses of her scripture of Psalm 121. And it reads, I look up to the vast size of the mountains. From where will my help come? The eternal creator of heavens and earth will send the help I need. And so if you can, each family take one, and there may be enough if you want to take 2, and just put this on your refrigerator or dishwasher or wherever it sticks. And just as you pass by it, say a little prayer. Say a little prayer for Colleen as she goes on her sabbatical, but also say a little prayer for the church and for the people who will keep this church running so well. And so I just wanted to let you know about that.
With that. Oh,
Yep,
hi, Becca.
I'm going to pull on Becca Peters to come up and
Be our... Stop reading that grocery list, will you please? Just kidding.
So we've been opening this time here in the room knows by now. It is breathe in. You might just want to take a breathe in, breathe out. So it's in 3 parts. You can sing any part you feel comfortable with. The first part goes breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Okay, next part goes, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. Part goes, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. So that's it. We start with the beginning, and we will a 3-part round, so to speak. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love.
Good morning. Today we will be considering how to approach aging with wisdom, as Mary Smitch and Marcel Proust both comment. Smitch, wisdom doesn't automatically come with old age. Nothing does, except wrinkles. Says Proust, we don't receive wisdom, we must discover it for ourselves after a journey that no one can take for us or steer us. Yet with spirits, always remember on this journey, wherever we go, God's peace and care goes with us, as is so beautifully shared in Stephen Mitchell's interpretation of Lord, how beautiful you are. My soul yearns for your presence, body longs for your light. Even the wren finds a house and the sparrow a nest for herself. Take me home, Lord, guide me to the place of perfect repose. Let me feel always within me, open my eyes to your love. Happy are those who trust you and merge their will in your will. They let go of all desires and go until they finally enter the inmost temple of the heart. No self, no other, nothing, but only you. With that, I eagerly await hearing from our guest, Karen Edwards.
Good morning, Park Street. Can you hear me now? Great. I'm Roberta, and hopefully you know me, and if not, hi. And this is our guest, Karen Edwards, and we are going to join in, and you will get to know her as we go. All right. So Karen, tell me about little Karen. Where did you grow up? How did you grow up? What kind of kid were you? All that fun stuff.
Good morning. I grew up in rural eastern North Carolina, on the edge of tobacco and soybean and cotton peanut farms. I'm an only child, and my parents, when I was just in, my mother and I with her parents. So I was primarily raised by my mom and her parents, my grandparents. My cousins who lived next door, who were like my brother and sister, would tell you I was a brat. The quintessential only child, privilege, all of that. I don't agree with that assessment. I was a tomboy, grew up playing sports in the backyard with my cousins. I was driving my granddaddy's tractor on his tobacco. My mother and we moved about 10,000 to North Carolina, and I really became a city girl then. 10,000 people. I accepted academics, was in my church every time I opened the doors. First with my grandmother in her little church. I played for Sunday school. Did anybody ever go to church where you had Sunday school first and everybody gathered and you sang hymns? So I was the hymn. I was always comfortable in a room with adults, even as a child. Loved adults. graduated from high school, went to Forest University, go Deeks. Any Deeks here? Daggone it. And felt the call to ministry. I was so Presbyterian that I squeaked. So Presbyterian I squeaked. I remember my baptism. I was 9 years old, baptized. A lot of Presbyterian babies don't remember, but I do remember that baptism. Sort of a before and after moment for me and Mom. Felt the call to ministry and like a good girl. I always wanted to be the good girl. Went to seminary, Columbia, in Decatur, Georgia. And that is where I'll stop now because we really.
We're glad to get to the next topic.
Okay, so I'm going to keep talking. Okay, so I should say good easy.
This is what happens when you get a bunch of bastards.
It is. Also, from an early child, I have never had a microphone I didn't love. I went to seminary in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia Presbyterian School, and the married would be my husband there. We shared, we were co-pastors. We were early days of co-pastors as husbands, yes. In Fayetteville, West Virginia, home of the New River Gorge Bridge. If you've never been there, go there. Then we moved to South Carolina and were co-pastors at a big presbytery there. Our daughters were born. I have two daughters, one in West Virginia, one in South Carolina. And I'll tell you that pastorate in South Carolina kind of undid me. We had a senior pastor who was not a nice person or reliable, truthful. I was responsible for ministry. That was what I felt called to do there. And I just kind of came undone there with being a pastor. So we moved to Waynesboro, where I met the infamous Colleen and Paul Titus. Lived around the corner. For my husband's pastorate. He took a pastorate there, and I sort of did odd preacher jobs. I was a supply preacher. My first real job was as chaplain at Sunnyside Presbyterian Continuing Care Retirement Community. And that really set me up for my passion. So let's stop there and see what I've missed. Ruth doesn't know this, but she's not going to get a word in edgewise.
Look who she works with.
Correct.
Colleen's about to be gone for like a bunch of weeks. They're going to get sick of you.
Just, well, and you can call me, I mean, if you have some empty microphone time.
There we go. Okay. Well, I mean, you know the journey that we're on with this interview. So, do you want to introduce a little more about your passion, or keep kind of going in the trajectory you were on to?
Okay, well, can we just keep going with the trajectory? Okay, so, came undone with well, I should say pastoral ministry. I didn't enjoy it, y'all. That's what I found out in South Carolina. I did not love it. I was not passionate about it. There were parts that I loved, but most of it, I did not. And that was hard. That was so hard and so painful to realize that this thing that I thought I needed to do and wanted to do was actually not it for me. Here we are in Waynesboro. I always wanted to do something in the medical field as well. I always have this kind of like two-track mind. I used to love, the medical shows on TV. My stepdad got leukemia, was diagnosed with leukemia. We spent a lot of time on the bone marrow unit at East Carolina University. those nurses became our heroes and my families. That's when I knew that's what I wanted to do. So, lost my mind. Was working full-time now at Summit Square in Waynesboro as chaplain. Full-time there, and went back to school full-time to get my nursing degree. I did. And I did. In 2006, I passed my boards and became a nurse. My first job was night shift at UVA on 3 East, which was old HEMOC. Yes, old HEMOC. Yes. And I became a nurse and I've never looked back, y'all. I just have never looked back. It is my heart's true home. I did not change careers as much as I added one. Since becoming a nurse, I worked inpatient oncology, I worked outpatient oncology, giving chemo in the old infusion center in the West Complex, and then again in Emily Couric Center. I did go back to Summit Square as the director of nursing for a little while. I did. Colleen didn't know that. I did. Miserable. There's no job worse than a long-term care director of nursing. I'm sorry if I'm stepping on any toes. And so now, as our medical director says, I've gone over to the dark side. I am now inspecting nursing homes for the Commonwealth of Virginia. Your tax dollars at work. So, all that said, in the middle of that, I got shed of a husband. He just left and never came back, ever. My girls do not hear from him. He has a granddaughter he doesn't know about. So, some significant pain. Again, a turning point before what?
We had overlap work. You also were hospice.
Oh yeah, I worked hospice, so I forgot to tell y'all. I was in hospice for a little bit, worked hospice. All that is to say, if y'all know Frederick Buechner, I feel like you do, Frederick Buechner says you listen to your life. And that all of our lives are sacred journeys because God meets us wherever we are. God especially meets us in the ordinary. God has met me. God has redeemed, revalued. That's, redeemed is actually to give a new value to. Valued a lot of the experiences in my life. And from where I have worked, where I have lived, my own family relationships, my mother and my grandmother who formed me and who form me still, I have this unique seat and perspective that has led me to really get wound up about the part of our lives before the end. Okay. My passion, I'll talk to you all day about advanced directives and hospice. I have nothing but mad props for the hospice people. I love it. I love hospice. I was a hospice nurse, and there's a place for that. I'll talk to you about that, happy to, but what I really want to talk to you about is the time before hospice. The time when we are going to need care if we live long enough. Some of you may be experiencing this with your parents who need care. They're not ready for end of life, but they certainly cannot live by themselves. I have this unique seat and this unique perspective, and God has put a fire underneath me to be really, really passionate about let's normalize having this conversation. So when I have a little workshop that I'll do. The first thing I tell people is, I'm going to talk about two things today that may really upset you. One is your bodily functions. The other is your money. And if those two things, because my grandmother would not be happy with me for talking about. Here, good Southern girls don't. It's not like, we're gonna talk about those. So there's the door. With all due respect, if you don't want to talk about those, you probably should go now. I'm not gonna do that today, so don't worry. I'm not gonna talk about those things today. But that's my passion. And I really feel like God has given me this and is leading me here. And that's my story. What else you want to know?
Ruth, do you want to talk a little bit more about you mentioned like God has put this fire, like do you want to talk a little bit more like about what's sacred in this?
Sure.
for you?
Yes, and as I said before, it's all sacred because God is here. I had the experience of cleaning out both my mother and my grandmother's houses by necessity because they had not made a plan, and I ended up doing it by myself. There were years and years of memories and memorabilia and crap. I mean, I quickly found out the things that my mother and grandmother thought everybody should want of theirs. You know, my grandmother, y'all, Depression era girl, okay, she washed out Ziploc bags and dried them. I do that too. I'm not casting aspersions. Don't tell my children I still do it because they don't think that's very good. But depression era girl, y'all.
They make the silly ones that you're supposed to do that now.
Yes, no, I'm doing that. So I opened up the closet behind her sofa. Y'all, there were 47 glass serving trays. 47. She was a caterer in her later years. She was a school luxury manager all her life. But she did catering, and so people gave her these trays. She was a tray hoarder. She was a glass tray hoarder. And my mother was like, oh my gosh, they're so valuable. And Karen, you know you want it. No, I listen, neither do she said, well, then we'll donate them something. We'll do them on consignment. I'm like, Mama, nobody wants them. Nobody wants them. And going through stuff, those were sacred moments. In talking to people about their stuff and talking to you about your stuff, what we ultimately get to are those sacred moments where we actually then talk about what really matters. Okay? Here's a spoiler, 5 minutes more.
You're good.
Here's a spoiler alert. It ain't your stuff. It ain't your stuff. It ain't your china. It's not the sterling that your great-grandmother hid because the Yankees were coming through. I'm telling you. That is not what matters. Because your stuff, I said I wasn't going to do this.
It's okay, do it. I like your title too, you guys.
Your stuff is not going to wipe your backside when you can't wipe your own. It just is not. It is not. So, I like to talk about unburdening ourselves, and the lighter our hands are in this life, the more likely we are to have a free hand to actually be the hands and feet of Jesus. We also have lighter hands to hold our grandbabies, or to make some bread for communion for Park Street Presbyterian. Sorry. Sorry.
Your cousins.
I am so sorry. Christian Church. Can I just tell y'all, in the little rural community I grew up in, Macclesfield, North Carolina, 2 2 caution lights. That's how big it was. 2 caution lights. Okay. The Christian church, we call it the Christian church, was right across from the Presbyterian Reed unchristian church. Right across the road, my cousins went to the Christian church. We went to the Christian church, and it was like such a magical place because y'all had communion every Sunday. That also meant a shorter sermon every Sunday. As a Presbyterian pastor who preached quite a bit, I can tell you that was pretty appealing to me to cross over. So, I really have tried to listen to my life and to stay where my feet are, to be where my feet are. Right now, my feet are every week in a nursing home in Virginia, somewhere. I love what I do. People say, oh, it must be so depressing. I love it. I meet the nicest people. Those are sacred moments as well. My work as a medical facilities inspector is sacred. Not because I think I'm all that, but because I get to go in and sit with people and talk with them and maybe open some eyes to make these people's lives better. I want to talk to you about the chapter before you get to that nursing home bed. I want to talk to you about how not to end up in a Medicaid nursing home bed. Because it's important to me to help you have a great quality of life so that we can all be about the work of God in this world right now, because gosh, y'all, we need it.
I think that's a good place to stop. And you all have on your tables a Q&A sheet if you have, or a question sheet if you have any questions. Because I think there's plenty more to talk about.
I do have, could you now, you have a great title for your workshop.
Oh, the title for the workshop is Making a Plan or Renting the Dumpster. Your choice. I leave you to that.
It's amazing.
And let me tell you, there is nothing sacred about renting a dumpster. I'm just gonna tell you. Jesus is not in that dumpster. I just. You wanna make a plan. That was predictable.
Thank you so much, Karen and Ruth. Important stuff. I always say we don't really get a say on the quantity of life. We don't really sometimes get a say in that. We do get a say in the quality of it. Now, let's consider other ways we can share our sacred bounty. As is true of time and talent, your financial support of Park Street helps us maintain our compassionate efforts, from our affordable preschool to welcoming support groups to simply keeping this cozy sanctuary we're in, or not so cozy because the AC is working. Yay! We're all very happy about that today. After our special music piece and some table talk over communion, Leslie and I will pass around collection plates for our contributions, as well as your questions. For Karen, you'll find question slips on your table, pens maybe on the table, and please jot down any questions you have, and Karen will do her best to align, combine, and share them during the time of Q&A following communion. Thank you for lending your ears. Now let's sit back and enjoy a special music piece by two of our pastors.
So before we get to this, if you want, I'm going to encourage you to look the words up to this song when I'm done. I don't have them up there because I find it, I want you to be able to close your eyes even. The images are beautiful. This is, to me, it's a very special song to me personally, but I think the imagery is just fantastic. So I hope it works for you.
when my body won't hold me anymore, yeah, darling, let's be free. Will I be ready when my feet won't walk on the line and my lips get dry? Kiss goodbye when my hands get steady. When I lay down my sleeves, my hopes and my doubts, the rings on my fingers and keys to my house with no hard feeling. When the sun hangs low and west and the light shines, won't be held a day any longer. When the jealousy fades away and it's time to know cash beauty, and it's just hallelujah, and love the thoughts, and love the words, love the songs they sing in the church, and know how I feel it. Lord knows they haven't done much good for anyone. Being afraid and cold, there's so much to have and hold. When my body won't hold me anymore, yeah, finally lets me free. Where will I go? Will the trailers take me south through the Georgia rain? Tropic rain, snow from heaven. Will I join the ocean blue or run to sailing tree? Shake hands laughing and walk through the night, straight to the light, holding the love I've known in my life, and know how I feel it. Lord knows they haven't done much good for anyone. Kept me afraid and cold. There's so much to have and hold. Under the curving sky, I'm finally learning why it matters for me and you to say it and mean it too. For life is loveliness, and all of its ugliness, as it's been to me. I have no enemy. I have no enemy. I have no enemy. I have no
Those words woke me up this morning. And when I first heard it, I'd wake up, or it would be part of my dreams. It happened to be during a time of great loss in the lives of some people I loved. And I kept thinking how important it is for these conversations. The conversations that we say we don't want to have because none of us are going to age, or I'm just going to fall asleep and not wake up one morning. Whatever those things are, we stay away from these things that are so important, like saying the things to people that you need to say to them now. Or, you know, deep down in your heart, you maybe should have made that phone call. Make it now. And really that thing that you're getting really irritated with somebody about, find out if it's really worth the anger and the waste of time. And rolling through your Rolodex of where you were offended. Usually always finding a way to blame the person that you offended. No hard feelings. And I think about 1 Corinthians 13 all the time, and I've used a translation from the Message. I'm sorry, an interpretation for all the seminary scholars out there. But there's a really wonderful part of it. It's actually a horrible part because I realize I fail so miserably at it, and it's that you don't think the worst about others. So from our filters, we so often hear something that's not even being said because we assume we know what they're going to say. Now, granted, there are some real stinkers out there. I mean, we got some people that like to poke, you know, we know that. But then how do we go, but what in the world is going on in their lives to make them such a porcupine? These are the things that I think about. I think about the other parts too. But we're usually so, they don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about this too soon. Why would I want to bring the mood down? I'm not telling you in the middle of the birthday party to go, wait a minute before I blow out these candles. They may be my last. I'm not talking about that. I mean, we were burying my grandma Hooten, Hooton. Hooten, we were burying her for a good 20 years, you know? And that's how we were kind of raised. You better make the phone call, and she might not be here for long, you know. And it was like, okay, Grandma's like still driving the car and teaching me how to fish. I mean, she was good. She had a good. But still, we needed to have those conversations. But I, like Karen, and many of you have been with people who waited too long to say the things, or just to sit there and go, yeah, it might be hard for me to step into this bathtub with slick tile in 5 years. All of the things that we can have in conversations around the table. I don't know, I'm not trying to set a topic. I mean, let's say that have some nice, fun things to talk about when we break communion, break bread and share. But it's a tough one. But see, we have this amazing person that taught us about facing the tough times. And even being at a table where some people didn't want to be there. And saying these really meaningful words that even for the people who didn't want to hear it, they were said. Right? You might know who I'm talking about. Here we go. Here we go. I'm just going to say that you can put your little gloves on. We are trying to be careful. But we know that on the night that Jesus sat around a table, it was Passover, right? And gloves are just for the table host, if anybody wants to know.
We can't hold it.
You can go for it. We do like to be close around here, Paul, you're right. But so he's sitting around this table. It's a Passover meal. Every year, these people, maybe not together, but at least probably for 3 years together, they would celebrate this Hebrew festival that remembered ancestors and remember all they've been through and that generation and generation had been through. And that we remember God is with us. Even if we ignore God, God is always with us. And even if you don't want to face the fact that there's a good chance that the person that was breaking the bread might not be there next Passover, the words were said anyway. Bread was raised, it was blessed, and it was broken. Take this and remember me. In the same way, a cup was raised, and it was blessed, and it was poured or passed around. We call it a common cup. Remembering me, the love of your life, and all that I've taught you. Never forget. Never forget. And so we now will have some background music. It's going to run about 10 minutes so that we have time to write down questions, to break bread. The bread, one that's more of a triangle, it has gluten in it. And the little crumbly look is the vegan. So God bless you and thank you for gathering around these tables. May you be blessed.
Before we start back in with the questions and answers, I just want to thank everyone here for being here and supporting our church. We did have to work on both air conditioners and both toilets this past week. So your endeavors to help us out here in any way, shape, or form are really appreciated. Thanks.
Tell them why you're so excited about that. Because you're the buildings and grounds.
Oh, I'm the building.
Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, it was insanity. For anybody that wasn't here last week, it was, wow. In the Midwest, I found out, Leslie and I worked, that's my sister if you didn't know, we would detassel corn so you could have a hybrid breed, blah, blah, blah. And there's been a big news article about the heat sweat, or the corn sweat, that when you worked, we worked in heat like this, pulling tassels off of every 8th row, so you could have strong strains of corn. And we were going, heat sweat? They never called it that, but you sure did get corn poisoning. Because you'd be so hot, and I was like, oh my goodness. In charge of buildings and grounds, another person to contact if you have any concern about something at buildings and grounds, not just when I'm away, but anytime. Like, oh, there's been a light bulb out in the bathroom for 7 weeks. Well, I can tell you, you guys see it?
Yeah, it's not easy.
I had to pop that screen out. I was hanging out behind the cross when the printer went down this week. And I see this shadowy guy going, hello? And I said, oh, here I am. I'm the pastor. Let me get out of the belfry. I'll be there in a minute. Checking on all those bats. Okay, so it's time for us to invite Ruth and Karen back up to answer your questions. And then we will have a closing song, and there you go. Making their way, stepping the steps. It's time.
We've got some good ones. Thank you all. So the first one, I tried to also organize these in a good trajectory. Okay. What helped you discern your next steps towards becoming a nurse?
Oh, wow. So is the question, like, once I decide I want to become a nurse, how that happened?
No, how did you decide to stop being a nurse?
Oh, okay, to add the career. Okay, so it really was, it was rooted in that decision, that turn, that sacred turn, was rooted in my interest, first of all. I just had an interest in all things medical. Oh, when I was 5, y'all, when I graduated from nursing school, the day I graduated, my mother was there and she handed me a big brown envelope. And I opened it. And it was nurse hats that I had folded when I was 5 and 6 years old when I played.
And you're expecting us to throw that stuff away?
Yes. I have told you about it, and that is every bit as powerful as you've seen. That is just to say, I always had this interest. The second really that pushed me over the edge was my experience in the hospital those months with my stepdad and those nurses who became our people. And they still are my people. I talk to them all the time. How confident, how caring, what truly ministry they did every single day and night.
What is your favorite nursing story? Or a favorite?
Let me think about this. Y'all, I have so many hilarious stories as a nurse in nursing homes. Here's my favorite though. When I was not chaplain, I was director of nursing at Summit Square, but I did kind of side duty as chaplain too because they didn't have one right then. I took a group of women in the Summit Square car. It was like an Impala or some big kind of car to a graveside service, just down the hill in Waynesboro. So Summit Square's kind of up on the hill, and then just, 4 or 5 blocks down the hill is the cemetery. It was freezing cold, and I had these fragile, they were really old women with me. They wanted to go to the graveside service. One of the women, y'all, honest to goodness, got on my nerves so bad because she talked like this, she talked like this all the time. I could probably do this. She walked and she talked like this. We went to the service. It was blissfully quick, but it was freezing cold. So I'm herding them back like cats, back to the Summit Square Batmobile. It was a huge car. And this resident came up beside me and she was just mumbling, she was just talking like this, and she kept saying, this is not our car, this is not our car, this is not our car. I'm like, miss, it is our car, get in, open the door, this is not our car. Got these women in the car, guess what? It wasn't their car. Not our car. Stay tuned for my more funny story.
Okay, so there's 2 questions about age. So what's the best age to take out a long-term care policy, and when, as in age, is too late? When is it most appropriate, I think, to have these?
For long-term care.
Okay, that doesn't say what, just says what. What's the age that is most appropriate?
To take out
To have the conversation.
To have the conversation. I'll let you.
A long-term care policy is the first question. Right this minute. Right this minute. I've had mine through the state for 10 years. And somebody told me that when long-term care policies first came out, Paul Titus may know more about this than I do, that people thought they were scams, and maybe they were scams. Does anybody remember that? Let me tell you that it's not a scam if you're with the right company. I'm not going to advertise the company, but tell me who yours is with, and I'll tell you if it's the right company or not. Buy as much as you can afford. I buy every time they offer me more for more money, I do it. And I may never need it. I hope I never need it. Odds are, I'm gonna need it, but my girls are gonna need it for me. 5 minutes, okay? There's one question I'm dying to get to, so I'm gonna go fast. Best age right now.
Oh, the microphone in your mouth.
What? Sorry.
There you go.
Sorry.
I didn't hear that.
When as an age is too late for long-term care policy, was that the question?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. The sooner you buy it, the cheaper it'll be. And I would buy it now because if you have a stroke today and you're 55 years old, Medicare's not gonna pay. Your private insurance is not gonna pay for nursing home bed. Just in case y'all didn't know that, unless you've got some crazy long-term care, private insurance code.
Okay, what is terrible about a Medicaid bed?
A Medicaid bed in and of itself is not terrible. Medicaid is not terrible. The state of Virginia administers Medicaid for the federal government. And so the state of Virginia is gonna pay a nursing home what the state thinks you are worth, what your care is worth. I do not know what the daily reimbursement is right now. It used to be somewhere around $140 a day. $140 a day. Let me tell you, that ain't gonna do it. Ain't gonna do it. So when I say a Medicaid bed is in a facility where the majority of residents are on Medicaid, where this facility is getting $140 a day to provide everything for you. Nurses, CNAs, your medications, incontinence products, and here's a spoiler alert, Medicaid facilities do not use disposable wipes to wipe your bottoms. They do not, because they're expensive. They do not put disposable pads underneath you. They put washable pads. So $143 a day is also going to pay for all the staff members who gonna come and change you when you're wet. And it just doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. That is a Medicaid bed. Come to work with me for one day, and I can assure you that is not where you're gonna wanna be. And God bless the people who work so hard to take care of those residents.
How do you stay out of a Medicaid facility when the cost of assisted living is so expensive?
Yes, so come to my workshop and you'll find out.
Okay, then I have 3 questions. When is your workshop? How do I sign up? Do you offer workshops? How to find out about them? Where and when are your workshops?
Talk to Colleen when she gets home from her sabbatical. So I will tell you, there's no one way to stay out of the Medicaid bed. The only way I suggest is to make a plan, and to make that plan now. To encourage your parents, if your parents are getting towards that age, to make a plan now, because if you do not make a plan for yourself, or for the people you love and are going to be responsible for taking care of, let me tell you who does make the plan. I hope I'm not stepping on any toes here, this is just how it is. It is the 22-year-old who just graduated from Mary Baldwin with a degree in whatever it is, health something management, health administration, or my sweet Caitlin here just graduated from JMU with a degree in social work, and they got scooped up by Augusta Health because Augusta Health can't, you know, it's hard for them to hire, so they hired this new person, and she's a discharge planner. And she's 22 years old, and she just graduated, and she is going to be looking to get you out of that hospital as soon as possible because her manager is on her back because you need to go because the DRGs are up and the hospital is now losing money on you. So she is not going to have any vested interest in getting you into any other thing than an open bed, and I'm going to tell you the open beds are in the Medicaid facilities. So if that doesn't scare you to death, I don't know what will. Make a plan. Come to my workshop.
Well, the only last one was like, what kind of elder care facility do you inspect?
I only inspect nursing homes. I only inspect facilities that get federal money. I inspect nursing homes. I also inspect facilities for intellectually disabled individuals that receive Medicaid funds. Oh, that we could all be cared for like those folks. Y'all, that is the best part of my job, going into those group homes. Assisted livings do not receive federal money. They do not, most of them, most assisted livings do not take Medicare or Medicaid. They are completely private pay unless you have long-term care insurance. And they are expensive. Colleen
I'll talk to you later.
Okay, Colleen will talk to me later. That's all I got.
What did we say? Thank you. So this has been the tradition that we run a little late. So for those of you, I'm so sorry if you're late for your dinner reservation, but I think this has just been a valuable, another season of great speakers. Thank you so much for launching the Hard Talks. And we will make an arrangement, so we'll have a workshop here. So that means maybe we'll think about it in October, we don't know. Oh, Christmas Eve, that's what we'll do. But with that, I want to say thank you to everybody who participated in making this happen. I wish it was sponsors. You are our sponsors. Thank you for sponsoring this. But also to the folks that have so willingly interviewed the guests, and for the people who run AV who don't get to sit around the tables as much, I want to say thank you to all of them as well. With that, we're going to close with a breathing meditation, and I turn this over to Donna.
Hello, here we are.
Bless you, Park Street Peace. Don't forget to get those magnets. I need all the prayers I can get, and I want to ask Nancy for your prayers about this. She's going to be walking the Camino with me.